Good afternoon and welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical. Thank you for stopping by. I hope the week's gone well. Let me start with firstly a shout out for Professor Howard French, who was such a spectacular guest at Mindspeak and gave us such deep insights into China, Africa, and so much more, frankly. And I've just finished reading his book, Everything Under the Heavens, and it really is remarkable scholarship and has provided me with a hinterland of context and understanding. He goes back hundreds of years and looks at the broad sweep of history, and it really is quite remarkable. And essentially the common narrative is that China believes that it is the center of the world, and those times when it isn't were actually an aberration. Or it's a super book. I strongly urge you to read it and have a look at the link of the Q&A session at Mindspeak as well. As I wrote at the end of last year, the trajectory of the tariff war is another pivotal curve to keep an eye on in 2019. And at that time, everyone had considered it very benign. They were being lulled into a false sense of security by Trump's rat-a-tat, mostly positive tweets. And now it's suddenly gone in a different direction. Bond yields, which are oftentimes a canary in the coal mine, and in this time, I wrote about it. I said there's a macro gale force level move which has pulled US Treasuries to a 20-month low. Rate markets in the US have now priced in 85 basis points cumulatively of easing. And I was arguing that the move in the US markets was created by the pull effect of the move lower in the German Bund and other bond markets. But I also said you can't stand in front of a runaway train. But on balance, I would be selling into this rally now. And leave you with this question. The whole tariff business, even if you give the benefit of the doubt, as I do, to the United States and say that, the US is such a big taker, you've got to take their price, that 20% will be absorbed on the US side and 80% on the other. It's still 20% of one is inflationary. It's day 11 of an inverted 3-month 10-year US yield curve, while some say this curve isn't a good indicator of recession anymore. Bianco Research says it's still relevant if it's inverted for at least 10 straight days. So we're going to find out. German 10-year Bund yields closed at another record low of minus 24 basis points. ABN AMRO on the ECB via Adam Linton. An announcement of APP2 is likely by the end of the year. Purchases to start in January 2020 or earlier. Assume 9 months at euro 70 billion a month. Rising chance that there could be a rate cut in addition to the second round of QE. I think that's definitely the next outcome. It's in fact my baseline. German industrial output drops 1.9% in April versus estimated 0.5% drop. In May, I was saying, about this emerging and frontier markets are shivering as they start to factor in the China emerging and frontier market feedback loop phenomenon, which has been positive for 2 decades and is now in a trend change. And also I was saying you've got to put Germany into that mix because Germany is such a big partner of China. So if China sneezes, a whole lot of countries are going to get a very serious bout of influenza. Interestingly, in our case, we're relatively immune to this phenomenon because China is not a big taker, avocado hopes aside, of our exports. Deutsche Bank closed below €6. Next target, €4.35. That's Sun Charters. That's incredible. And I was thinking back all those years ago, it was a juggernaut in the markets that I operated in, which were the money markets. It really was. It's astonishing.